Hello once again, and welcome to NineStar's Unplugged. I am David Spencer, Director of Marketing with NineStar Connect. And with us on today's show is Jill Snyder, who is the Director of Business and Economic Development here at NineStar. She's been with the company about 7 years, and she's worked on various projects and in different capacities. But we're having her on the show today to talk about something very exciting called Idea Co-op that's going to be coming down the line very soon, and she's been working very hard on it. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, David.
Before we kind of get into what Idea Co-op is and how it came about and where we're at with it, I thought we might start with kind of your background and how you found your way to NineStar and how that kind of even plays a role with what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, I've been with NineStar, as you said, about 7 years, and my background is high-tech in Indianapolis. Many high-tech startups going back to the mid-'80s. So I've spent a lot of time in the field of technology and trying to start up companies in the Indianapolis area.
Okay. And when you say going back to the 80s and technology, I mean, that's kind of when it all started.
That's when it propelled. I was with IBM in the early 80s, and I remember introducing the first PC, personal computer, in about 1985, and then things just went kind of haywire after that. Absolutely.
So, you know, we think of Indianapolis as this major U.S. city, which it is, but it's really kind of like a small Midwestern town with everybody kind of knows everybody within, 3 people or so. I'm sure a lot of those relationships and people you've run into in the tech industry are kind of the same and continue to this day.
It is a small town when it comes to high tech, and especially with software companies. It's amazing how many we have now. If you go back to the software artistry days in the 90s, software artistry was acquired by Tivoli, which was an IBM company. But software artistry spawned an insane number of new high-tech companies in Indianapolis, and I think that was kind of the root of all the growth in Indianapolis from all these employees. A lot of them from the original software artistry family.
And can you talk for a minute about how Indianapolis has really kind of become the next hotbed for technology? I mean, there's almost a movement with Salesforce and a lot of other companies that are here growing, spawning off other startups and looking for talent.
Sure. What's interesting is a lot of the high-tech companies in Indianapolis focus on marketing technologies. So Aprimo, which I was part of the founding team at Aprimo, was all marketing technology based. ExactTarget, obviously, is a marketing technology company. Other companies like Delivra, ROI Technologies. There is a large number of companies in Indianapolis that focus on marketing technology. So it's kind of become our niche, which is what attracted Salesforce to ExactTarget. One of the things that attracted Salesforce to ExactTarget was not only the wealth of marketing technology talent at ExactTarget, but all these other companies in the Indianapolis area. And we have just become a real specialty area on all technologies relating to improving marketing and marketing returns for companies. So.
Fascinating. So as these companies grow and people, kind of go on to do their own thing or try new things, there's kind of been a trend in Indy with kind of like incubators or startup kind of facilities. I know there's a Launch Fishers and there's kind of a Speakeasy downtown Indy that are 2 of the players currently that are in this space. Kind of talk to that movement a little bit, or kind of how, why that is a good way to get companies started before they can kind of go out on their own.
Sure. There's been an explosion of co-working spaces throughout the state, and I think most of your medium to large size cities and towns have some form of co-working facility today. Downtown Indianapolis, I know, probably has at least 6 that I can think of off the bat, like 525 Union, Launch Indianapolis, the ones you said, like the Speakeasy. There's a lot of them downtown. The reason they're so popular is because if you're starting a new company, the last thing you have is capital or money to sign a multi-year office lease, which is what, if you lease office space in Indianapolis, you typically have to do. So a lot of these co-working spaces are incredibly flexible. They'll allow you month to month, or they have space to allow you to grow till you get to the point that you physically need a larger space on your own, and usually by that point you have the financial foundation to be able to afford a longer office space lease. So just out of necessity. And then the other component that is very popular is just that people like to be around like-minded individuals. The people that work in these high-tech companies, they have their own culture, and they like to be around people with that culture to bounce ideas off of and talk about new ideas, new concepts, things like that. So these co-working spaces are incredibly popular.
So, if you're just tuning in, you're wondering, okay, why are we talking about co-working spaces and so forth on NineStar Unplugged? It's because NineStar is venturing into this area with Idea Co-op. And I thought we would use that kind of introduction to kind of lay the groundwork of that will help explain what we're doing and where we're doing it. So kind of talk to us a little bit about what we're doing, what NineStar is doing in the with Idea Co-op.
Idea Co-op. This actually started about 6 years ago, so it's been several years in the making. But NineStar Connect itself has about 30 IT employees here, and I know we struggle with attracting and retaining high-tech talent out here in Hancock County. And I know if we're struggling with that, everybody out here is struggling with the attraction of high-tech talent. So you overlay on that as we sit here today, there's over 1,000 open programming positions in Indianapolis, unfilled. And Indianapolis knows it's going to have to start looking to the outside counties to help fill the demand for all these software positions. So I like to use the term rural outsourcing. So we wanted to create a facility that would help attract and retain technical talent to Hancock County, and to start developing this type of talent in this county, to help fulfill not only the jobs here, but the jobs in central Indiana. Many of these high-tech jobs they're very well-paying jobs with good benefits. You can work in a variety of locations. A lot of people that work in these jobs work remotely, so you could literally work and live in Hancock County and have some of these great jobs. And we just want to do something to attract and grow this type of talent. So the idea of creating a co-working space came up, not just for our own technical people, but for everyone in the county as well. About the same time, I became aware that our NineStar North Campus up in just north of Maxwell was going to be about 60% vacated based upon people moving down to our facility in Greenfield. So here's NineStar Connect with a huge campus up there. So now we have the facility, which also sits on 26 acres, which I'll talk about in a moment. We are a cooperative. Our assets are owned by our members, so what better way to put this asset to work than to make a co-working space for several different groups of people. Those that want to start a company and need a place to go and work with like-minded individuals at a very low cost is one of those target audiences. Another area of technology we want to focus on is agri-tech. It's big in Indiana, and it would be unique in this co-working facility because we're also sitting on 26 acres at Idea Co-op, and 17 of those acres are tillable. We have a lot of warehouse space, we have outbuilding space in addition to office space, and a lot of those types of features are very attractive to agri-tech companies. In fact, our first tenant is an agri-tech company that will be moving in soon. And then the third main audience are just those people that work remote, and either they don't want to work out of their home, or if they're not a NineStar customer, they don't have the bandwidth or the internet capacity to do so, that they just want a place where they can come and work. So that's kind of like the third audience that we'll be focusing on.
You know, you mentioned the cooperative, and a lot of times on this show we go back to the cooperative and what our basic, function is and so forth about, help provide services that people need to kind of thrive in the communities they live in. But you talk about taking a space that was vacated and generating revenue from these tenants, and we'll get more into that, kind of how that works in a minute. But also producing talent that not only we can tap into, but that many of our member companies or areas, within our communities can use, is just an amazing, it's just really exciting to think about how we're kind of the synergy that's building that not only benefits the cooperative, but our members and in our community to benefit it is just a really exciting thing.
Well, there's the 7 cooperative principles, which every cooperative is based on. I won't go through all 7, but 2 of those principles, which is education, training, and information, and the other one is concern for the community. So those are 2 cooperative principles that really define why we are doing this. Creating this space for a community to help to help all of our members and hopefully spawn new companies, new entrepreneurial growth, to create new businesses in our community that everyone will benefit from.
Right. And it goes back to some of the shows that we've had about why NineStar does the things that NineStar does. It all goes back to growing density. If we can get more people, more corporations, we can keep our rates lower for our customers and spread those costs out among more people. So it all fits together, even though at times it's like, well, I don't quite understand that, but it does make sense. Early on, you were talking about the other co-working facilities that will be similar to this, and they all sounded like they were in Indianapolis. And my guess is because where we're located, we're not going to really have any competition, or there's kind of a vacuum around us that will, I think, benefit us because there's nothing else quite like it.
It is unique, mostly because we sit on the 26 acres and we have a lot of green space and outdoor space, which could be valuable to, again, agri-tech companies, drone companies, people that need large outdoor, exposure to elements and things of that nature. At the same time, we will be partners with a lot of co-working spaces in Indianapolis. In fact, most co-working spaces kind of work together. Indiana has a program called the Passport Program, and there's probably 50 or 60 co-working spaces in the Passport Program throughout the state. So if you're in the Passport Program, if I had to drive to South Bend and be up there for a couple days, I can just walk into the South Bend co-working facility and work there. So the purpose of this Passport Program is no matter where you're at in Indiana, you can always go into a co-working space because you're a member of the program and work if you need to. So that's very helpful. But some co-working spaces kind of have specialties, and a lot of them will get to know Idea Co-op And if people come in saying, gosh, I need room to do this, they may say, we don't have that here, but, Idea Co-op, is going to have the space you're going to need.
Right.
So it'll be a real partnership with many of them around Indianapolis.
Yeah, it goes back to the community we talked about.
Yeah.
And so forth. So let's dive a little deeper into the space that we have at
Okay.
600 North in Maxwell. What are some of the amenities that somebody who's looking to find space to work will find at our space, and what kind of unique kind of things can they tap into to help grow their business?
Okay, well, we'll have two general types of membership. One general membership is you come into our space, you have access to everything in the space, you grab a desk, you work for the day, and I'll talk about all the amenities in just a minute. And that's just called a general membership. The other type of membership is if you want a private office, where you're going to come in every day, you want to store your equipment, your files, you've got the key to the door, and you got your own lockable space. So those are the two general types of memberships. But amenities are huge up there. We've got a 50-person classroom that any member can use, and we're planning to use that classroom for a lot of technology-related education. For example, we've been running what's called Coder Dojo classes for about 6 or 7 months now. It's first Sunday of every month, where we teach introductory programming to kids age 7 to 17.
And those classes are extremely popular.
They're very popular. They're free. Kids love them. We're doing those classes in conjunction with TechPoint out of Indianapolis, and really introducing kids to coding, and it's been very successful.
And one thing, we talked off air that you had mentioned is that early on in those Coder Dojo classes, how the kids were actually kind of more advanced than what the curriculum was at the start, and so they kind of had to ramp up to meet kind of where the kids were at, which is pretty exciting.
It is exciting, so we added in bots and all sorts of other things to, no matter what level the child is at, there'll be something in that class for them, even if they've never even touched a keyboard. So we have a great instructor, and those classes are going well. So that's the Education Center. In addition to the Education Center, we've got a big, what we call an outdoor patio or pavilion. It's a 40 by 40 foot deck with a very long standing work surface. So you can have meetings outside, you can work outside on those days that are nice. It's all Wi-Fi, so you can do whatever you want out there. So it's just very nice to be able to have some green space and to be outside. We've got a gym, indoor gym that's all set up and running to keep you both physically as well as mentally healthy at Idea Co-op. We've got a 3D printing lab set up, virtual reality lab that will be state of the art, which will be, I think, a benefit to a lot of people. With David's help, we'll be setting up a podcast room for people that want to come up and produce podcasts. We have 2 cafe options. If you will, we have a thing called the Corner Cafe, which will be really nice teas, coffees, hot chocolate, and then we have a large break room that has everything you need to cook a meal if you need to cook a meal. So those again are available to everyone in the facility. So there's lots to offer. One of the greatest things about the space is it's gigabit Wi-Fi enabled, so bandwidth won't be a problem.
Right.
No matter what you're doing. And for some of the more advanced people that are looking at starting a company, if they need co-location facilities for file servers, we have those facilities. If they want a live person call center, we have that, so they can actually have people answer their phones to make it look like a more robust company. A lot of features like that you're not going to find in some of the other spaces.
And I assume this space will be 24 hours? They can kind of come and go as they want?
It's 24 hours a day, free and ample parking, which is not always the case in some of these spaces throughout the state, parking can be challenging. And the entire campus is handicap accessible. So we're proud of that fact, and and we've made sure we've made it available to anyone that wants to be a part of the IDEA co-op.
So the other very interesting aspect and cool thing about the space at our North Campus on 600 North is that, as you said, when the engineering and installation and repair employees for NineStar vacated the area, it kind of left you with kind of a blank palette that you could kind of create anything you wanted to there. And kind of talk to us a little bit about kind of what your vision was when you had this space that you could kind of make your own and make into this kind of vision of what you wanted. And I thought you had a really great idea in the way you've embraced our local community to kind of give it that feel and flair.
Well, it's been fun because it's been like a mini version of Fixer Upper. So we have been flipping the space, and in doing so, we're very conscious to do everything local. Everything we've done in the space has a local angle, including even the people that installed the carpeting had to be from Greenfield. We had a reclaimed wood wall put into the corner cafe, and the majority of that wood came from a barn that was deconstructed in Connorsville, which is an area in which we serve. And we had a gorgeous 10-foot poplar live edge standing conference table built. That poplar came from the banks of Sugar Creek out in the little town of Philadelphia, and the gentleman that did all that work was Evan Devine of Devine Heritage Barns out of Greenfield, right? So every little thing we do has a connection to the local community.
You even mentioned the massive deck that was constructed on the back of the building, and that was even a local situation.
that was that was Al Cooper from New Pal High School, who with students in the off seasons builds decks. So we had them build our deck, which just turned out gorgeous. The artwork that'll be on the walls will be all photographs of the communities that we serve, and we had an employee photography contest. So all those photos will be enlarged and put on the walls to represent all areas in and around Hancock County. So everything will have a local flair.
Yeah, I think that's tremendous to kind of highlight the artistry and some of the things that make our area unique. And so when these folks come in, they'll get a feel for that.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned kind of an agriculture feel, but this is anybody can come in here.
Yep. People that go to Starbucks every day and work for hours on end now have an option.
Right.
They can buy a membership in IDEA Co-op and come up and drink our coffees and teas and have a lot more space to spread out. I don't know right now if there are any other co-working spaces in Hancock County. I started thinking about this the other day. So I don't know what the other options are, but we will have a lot of space, and it'll be a great space to be in, and it's incredibly affordable.
And I know you probably can't mention names, but we've actually had people come. People are coming through. They're looking at the space, but we've also had people that are going to be using some of the spaces already.
Yep.
Once we're up and running.
We have a list of people who have significant interest. So I suspect that we'll be busy pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah, when we open in late October.
Okay, that was my next question. The opening is coming in October, and if people are looking to find out more information, what would they need to do? Who would they need to talk to? Well,
we have a website. It's up and running, including all of the fees and amenities, and that website is ideacoop.com, and that's ideacoop.com. And all the contact information is out there as well. We're updating it with new pictures and things as we get the space flipped. And there's a place to ask questions, and And so just call us, email us, or go to our website to get more information.
Yeah. You mentioned, before I let you go, you mentioned back to the agrarian use, and that's kind of different for a space like this. You've been in talks with a gentleman that is really excited about using part of that acreage to do some testing and some irrigation, I believe, testing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, his company is focusing on subsurface nutrient delivery to the plant's roots instead of spraying it above ground. So, he's looking at building out those new technologies, and we look forward to helping him grow that company.
Yeah, well, great. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of work being done. A lot of work, like you said, has gone into this. Still a lot of work to be done, but it's a very exciting time to be a member of our co-op right now, to kind of see the different things that are happening. And it's not your grandfather's co-op anymore. We're trying to grow talent and end the brain drain. That's a term we hear a lot. Trying to spawn new businesses that we hope take root here in our community and our cooperative, and it's just an exciting time with a lot of things going on. And if any of our members are interested, they can get a hold of Jill and her team with the information she gave, or just feel free to stop in. We're owned by our members, and it's your space, and if you want to see it, you're more than welcome to check it out.
Great.
Well, thank you for being on today. We appreciate all the information and the hard work you're putting into this, and we're excited to see what happens and what comes out of it down the road. So thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, this has been Unplugged from NineStar Connect.